Comparing our preliminary task to our final thriller opening, there are many similarities and large improvements that have been made as a result from learning from our preliminary. The first stage of making a movie in the film industry is pre-production. This is the planning of the film before it is filmed. This includes planning a location, script writing, and getting the correct equipment in order to film. For the shooting of our preliminary, we had a very short amount of time to plan and shoot. Therefore, we only made a very short preliminary task, as opposed to making a full feature film. For our final thriller opening, we had a numerous amount of weeks to plan, including the gathering of props, the location, and deciding on character roles. The planning time helped us tremendously, as when it was time to take on the production stage, all planning was complete. We were able to record extra footage in different ways, in case one clip looked better than another. This also allowed us to visually test which clip would suit our opening best. When it came to filming our preliminary task, we had to do all production stages in 2 50-minute lessons. In sight of this, our filming and editing process were extremely rushed. Due to the short planning time, we had to think of a quick idea that would entertain our audience but not take too long to film and edit. We decided not to go with the thriller genre, as you would need a long time to create a suspenseful atmosphere. So we decided to go with the comedy genre. We used a simple and easy location which was accessible. This was an outdoor area on the school premises with benches. Therefore, when it came to filming our final thriller, we knew exactly what location and specific lighting was needed for each scene. I do not think that our final thriller opening would have been as successful if we were not to have done a preliminary task beforehand, as it allowed us to practice different camera angle shots and filming techniques. An example of this is the match on action shot, as the character slowly walks through a door, which we used in a similar way in our final thriller opening. We also included the 180-degree walk rule in our preliminary task, as well as using it in our final opening. The only difference is in our preliminary, the 180-degree shot cut to each different shot, and in our final opening the camera slowly pans right. All of these shots allowed us to practice creating continuity and to help us to see what would best suit our final thriller opening. Thanks to the preliminary task, it also allowed us to experience the editing in Final Cut Pro for the first time. Final Cut Pro allowed us to edit shots such as our match on action shot. The equipment that was used to film our preliminary task was not as professional compared to when it came to film our opening. In our preliminary, we used the camera alone to capture audio, which was not very good quality and at times was hard to hear. However, in our final opening, we had microphones which were attached to the camera to capture a good quality audio. In my opinion, the sound effects that we used in our preliminary task were not successful and did not make our preliminary look professional. Sound effects were suddenly played and interrupted what was visually taking place. Also, we were still getting used to using Final Cut Pro. We did not know how to fade music out, therefore our soundtrack suddenly cuts out, making our preliminary looks and sound unprofessional. However, making these mistakes allowed us to become experienced with editing on Final Cut Pro and helped us to appropriately add music that fitted well to our final thriller opening. Overall, I do believe that our final opening sequence was far more successful compared to our preliminary task, as we had more experience and we learnt from our mistakes. The experience we gained from our preliminary task alongside our research into the thriller genre, we were able to produce a product which we are all extremely happy with.